As explained, pages are standalone and static pieces of content that you add to your website. Unlike posts, they are only organized in parent-child relationships, which means they have no categories or tags. The pages are rarely displayed with the author or published date and time attached to it. In short, they are a different type of content altogether. So how do you know when to create a page instead of a post? You can take a simple test here by asking yourself whether you want it to be available as a main menu item or not. Pages are typically permanent content that are static and are not updated so frequently. Examples of pages can be home page, an about page, or a contact page. The pages can include summary about specific types of content on the site, summary of products and services, or they can even contain bio of contributors, or in the case of a company, bio of staffs as well. We can find many WordPress sites that mainly contain pages or can even contain pages only. We can take an example of a college website which would probably have mostly pages, with blog posts just for quick updates regarding new admission, etc. can be done. A company website would typically have pages with a blog related to news and promotions, any events, etc. Let's look at creating a page in WordPress. The method of creating pages is pretty much similar to the way of creating posts. From the WordPress toolbar, simply hover over New and select Page, or from the backend, hover over Pages and select Add New. Both of these options will take you to the page editor. You can notice that it looks like a lot like the post editor. Now in the editor section, you can add a page title, write a content, and you can also add images or media according to your requirement. You can either schedule or immediately publish your page. You can easily differentiate between posts and page by looking at the panel on the right. Instead of categories and tags, we have a panel called Page Attributes. This is where you can change the page template and the page hierarchy. Now we will discuss this later on. However, if you're using WordPress, the latest version, pages do not have comments by default. If you want comments on pages, you can actively open the screen option. You can go to the discussion panel and check Allow comments on pages. Once your page is created and published, you can jump to the front end and view the page. You can see the page is already created and features image and content. You can see that pages work exactly like posts, and it is being displayed nicely on your website. Let us discuss the default template in this 2020 theme. If you haven't activated this theme, please go ahead and do so. You can see the content part with some width of the container. If you have created pages with 2020 themes, and if you want to edit those pages, you will see that in the Page Attributes panel, you have the parent field and the template. And right now, my template is set to default template, but I can change this either to a cover page template or a full width page template. Let us just simply change this to the full width page template and then click Update. Simply go ahead to see how the page looks like from the front end. Here we see full width content with featured image above the content, below the page title. So by using this custom page template, I can change the look of a specific page to display separate content or separate layouts than other existing pages on the site. As I mentioned before, these custom page templates are theme dependent. It might not be available in all the themes, but I suggest you test them out to see what they do and how they work, because they are a myriad of different options here. Let us check creating page hierarchies. So you might be wondering what a parent-child relationship means. So let's take a look. In between the chapters, I've created two new pages. This is the first one. It's called About Us. I've also created a second page which I haven't published it. This is the page about interest. So you can see here that there is a little bit of text followed by some text with a photo. What I want to happen for this interest page is to become a child of the About Us page. It means creating a clear structural hierarchy within our content. You can imagine having About Us page as the main menu, which is then followed by a drop-down menu, which is of interest page. So a parent-child relationship simply means hierarchy between your pages. To create this relationship, all we have to do is go to the Page Attributes panel on the right hand side. You just see here you have something called parent, but currently by default it is set to no parent. But now that I have two pages, I can use the drop down to set one of the existing pages as the parent of interest page. So I'm going to select About Us as the parent. Before that, I want you to check the permalink for interest. Currently, the permalink is simply our localhost server, which is followed by test website /interest. This is the standard permalink structure for pages. Once you create a page, it always lands on the root of your domain. But now that I have changed the parent, if I click Save Draft, you will see that the URL structure changes to show the page hierarchy. Now About is the parent and Interest is the child page. If I go ahead and publish the page and view it in the browser, you'll see the same thing. Note that my URL here reads About/interest. Not only from the human eye point of view, but search engine and other type of engines that come into your site will easily understand these structures. However, if I want the navigation to be clearer between these two pages, I have to actually add in-links within the pages themselves. We can try it now, as our About Us page has a child page. We can go to the bottom of our page and write something like More about interest. And I'll make this link that points at the interest page. Click Add Link and update the page. Now, if you go and view the About page and scroll to the bottom, you'll see a link to the interest page, which is the hyperlink. And now you have a clear structural hierarchy between the two pages. The hierarchy should obviously be understandable by the user of our site. So we also have to add in a custom menu into our site showing structural hierarchy. With most of the themes available for WordPress, there will already be a menu in place on your site. And if you have not done any custom settings for your menus, the structural hierarchies will already be in place. So if you are using a different theme from the 2020 theme, you are probably going to see that About Us page already has a drop-down menu in the front end. We have a lot to learn about structural hierarchy. In our next chapter, we will talk about that in more detail.